Hello, hello. Just bringing up on my phone to make sure where I am. So, welcome, Corey Thorne. Um, Sorry, just making sure. Corey Thorne, spiritual teacher, psychic medium, modern day mystic, and everything in between, coming in to do the new moon energy. So, I am just waiting to see. This is a last minute pop in. So it is really hot. So I'm not going to be staying long. I don't think so. It's really, really, really hot here. Hello, Destiny. Hi. Um, so anyone watching the replay, the message will also resonate with you as well. For anyone who's coming in now, then it also will be, you know, resonating with you as well in some way. It is, or I hope it resonates with you. This is new moon in Leo. And so I did want to come in and do a quick live. I have been away. If you're wondering where I've been away, taking some time off. I'm not seeing any Facebook messages or any Facebook people here. I'm just seeing some YouTube. So I just want to make sure I'm on. I just want to make sure I'm on. Oh, there's Facebook. Okay. You were just watching my new moon video? Yes. So I did just post a new moon video, like a energy update on YouTube, where you can also watch that one. I'm not sure. I don't think I shared it over to Facebook yet, but it is on my YouTube channel, so you can go watch that. It was recorded earlier this morning, um, and so that one is there as well. So, hello, hi Kenzie, love you too. And Dana, hello. And Brianna, hi. Beth, hello. Miss you. I was just talking to Beth. And Destiny, hello. And Ellie, hello. So it is going to be a little bit of a quick video, I believe, because it is well over 30 degrees up here in my loft. We have, so it's pretty hot. Yes, Destiny. Yes. So I have two Destinies here. So Destiny Brown, yes, there is new moon going on and it is Leo. So, when you look up your birth chart, if you go to, I often use Astro Cafe and you look up your natal chart. If you know your birth time, your exact birth time, it really helps. But if you just know, even if you don't have that, you can still do your natal chart. You just won't get your ascending, but it tells you where Leo is within your houses, where where the planets lay within your sign. It does have some real fire energy. There is some double whammy with this moon, but it's also a good one. It's not that it's so this is new moon, which means it's about setting intentions. It's about how are we going to show up? What are we going to, and so for let me step back. So this morning when I was recording for the new moon energy and I was channeling through, what do I need to share? What do I need to give out? Was that I was picking up that sense of, you know, how we how we love to evolve and grow, but we don't love to evolve and grow. Is that, when somebody starts to change or when you start to change, other people may feel like, oh, I don't want you to change. And I hear it all the time. I hear it often. I often get, what happened to you? I used to always follow you, and now your work is not the same. You don't always do the same thing. And I'm like, thank God I don't, because that's a good sign that everything that I have created and put through More Than Existing Academy, I've also walked that walk. Right? I'm not. I don't. I walk my own talk. Don't just give out the messages. I do the work. And so, thank God I am not that exact same person, because I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, there's this growth and evolving that is so important to us, that really makes a difference in our lives and who we are in our futures, if we keep allowing ourselves to grow and evolve. If we stay stuck, if we stay trapped in those stories, if we have an expectation for people to be who we think they are. And here's a big key of this. Here's a big, like flashing sign of this, is that when you meet people and you either maybe work with them once, or you get to know them in a specific situation, it doesn't mean you know all about them. There's so many layers to us, and there's so much that we are. And so I'm a very creative person, and creativity is where I spent 30 years of my life. And so to be a creator is huge for me. And so that's where my love is in creating content and work and channeling messages and sharing and painting and writing. And so my second book has been released, but not you can't get the book itself quite yet. We're that close. So the book is on its way to me for me to hold it and decide if it's exactly as we want, and then we'll release it. But that's where, a lot of my passion lays. So I've been really in that direction. So you will not be as available to people the same way you would have been previously, because you change. Every experience changes us. And then from those experiences, we have a chance to let ourselves be stagnant and trapped and block our own energy, or we have the opportunity to turn a light on. And that's what this new moon is like. There is no visible moon. The moon is behind there, but it gives us an opportunity to say to ourselves, I can sit with me right here. Let me dive deep in and see, why am I not turning the light on to, a gift, or or to be inspired, or to inspire myself. What am I holding myself back from? Why am I not going that direction? Or why am I resisting doing something that I've done for years, even if I like it? What is the resistance? Is it that I just, if your body is saying, I don't want to do that, you really should listen to those things. It's important. So, it's, but who do I want to be? Who do I want to be on the other side of my experiences, and which direction would I like to go? Hello, everyone who is joining in. Uh, there's a lot of weird things going on, Lana. There's a lot of weird things. So there is a lot of energy. Remember, we treat walking on the ground, we treat walking on earth as if we're walking on a doormat outside the door. So whatever energy we have in us, we kind of leave our footprint, our energetic, I'm not talking like climate, but we leave our energetic footprint on the earth. So we contribute in our way of all of the energy, of what we feel, what we connect to. So there is a lot of energy, a lot of energy. Um, it's always going to get better. You look at cycles, and you look at history. And if we forget our history, I spoke about this morning as well. If we neglect our history, we will be denying ourselves a new future, because we'll keep repeating, right? And so in every situation, every cycle, every journey that we've been on, there is a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there is a new beginning, right? And so there is always, everything has its season, its time. And then there's always going to be a rise again. There will be that heightened sense of, hurrah, we're back. And you've seen it after we were all allowed outside again, and everybody started to jump back into their lives, and they're like, I want my life back, I want my life back. But here's the problem: we keep trying to go back to the lives that we've had, and then we're going to end up having to repeat some of the things. Not everything goes back to the way it was. It's not designed to. We are not designed to. We're not designed to do that. We are designed to evolve, to grow beyond that. So it's catching ourselves and be aware of that, and be aware of that in our own lives. Hello from the beach. Oh, Stacy. So I was going to record outside, and I'm pretty much on, just off like the main road going through Lacombe. So it's transport trucks, it's everything is going up and down the road. And so it was just too loud. So I had to come in. Um, and so I had to come inside and be here, be up here in this hot, hot office. Hello, everyone. Maddie, Summer, hello. Felicia, Michelle, hello. Rhonda, Rhonda, are you? Oh my goodness. Wow. And learning the world over again. Wow, wow, wow. I'm so sorry, Rhonda. Yeah, it really is. It's a lot of I know when I mean, there's no comparison, Rhonda, but just this experience that, like, when I first started to lose some of my words and speech, when my I lost the fine motor skills, and when my fine motor skills start slowing down, was there's I can hear myself, like I can hear what I want to say, but a lot of the language that I want to say, I can't get out. A lot of things changes when I lost the use of my hands, a lot of things changes. So really truly give yourself time in this, like really give yourself time. um be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself. That's so crazy. Colette, I'm doing a collective message today. I hope it resonates with you. So I'm speaking about the moon. um Speaking about the new moon energy, what we have going on. um yeah, Rhonda, I'm sending you lots of healing. Yeah, my heart's with you, my dear friend. That's sometimes, we realize how, how life changes in the blink of an eye, right? So many times. Destiny, my daughter loves the hot weather. She refused to go inside, so we're sitting out. Right, I love the hot weather too. I'm not gonna lie, I love the hot weather. So yeah. But I wanted to do a three card. I want to pull three cards and just talk about see what the energy is, see what we have, see what the oracle has to say about where we are. So I am going to start with my own cards. And so if you're just coming in, I just spoke for the first 10 minutes about the energy, but you can also catch a lot of what I just spoke about. You can also catch on my YouTube video that I just posted before this one. I recorded it this morning. That is also available. So our first card is the Awakening. It is Delilah, and and this is the first card out. Um, and this first card really truly speaks of that energy. Now, this card doesn't quite look like this anymore. It has changed somewhat. And so this is still in beta testing. So there's a flower behind her. And if you are to look, it's more like a tiger lily than a lotus flower in the card, and it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. It is allowing ourselves to know that we get to be the creator of our lives. And a part of awakening, if you've seen the summer extravaganza sale I've had on, I taught a 3 or 4 part class that was called Spiritual Depression, and that's not clinical. It's about awakening, and that class, the first one is actually available on YouTube. A lot of my classes that are on sale right now, we did put one of the classes from each of them on YouTube, and so you can watch the first one before you even purchase, but they're all 60% off. But the whole premises behind it was what brings us to the point of awakening. What brings us to there? How do we try to hold on? How do we try to be in charge? How do we try to be in control? And then all of a sudden we just like it's like we don't fit no more. We don't belong anymore. You just find yourself nothing fits. Nothing fits right. You don't feel like you fit, or you keep trying to put yourself back in the box, trying to fit into a world, or trying to be so-called normal, trying to be low key. And then you find yourself having this sense of melancholy and all of those things. Well, in awakening, it is called the lotus flower moments. Often when we come from our murky times, our lowest moments are our most defining moments. What we do from those moments, how we rise from those moments, truly does make a difference in our lives. And so this beautiful flower, as Delilah was coming up, she knows she's made, you know, mistakes. She knows she didn't do everything right. She recognizes now she is human. Ah, thank you, Rhonda. And I so love having you in my world. And I look forward to having you even more in my world. And so as she's rising and as she's coming up, she could, recreate the lotus and say, I have to, what comes above the surface is I have to be like everyone else, or I have to follow the step by step of, because of, the system. We want to bring our systems and our old ways into everything new. For some reason it creates comfort, and we keep seeking that comfort. But that sense of, spirituality and awakening, it's not done step by step. Not everybody goes through the same experiences. Your experience is your experience. So your experience coming up and your experience rising and your experience in evolving and growing and going through transformation is your experience. You do it at your level, your time, what feels right to you. And so it's really truly about learning that you do not have to sell yourself, sell your soul to even become spiritual, to even fit in anywhere. And when there's such a defined definition on who and how you have to be, you'll find yourself quitting on you, because what you're doing is you're returning to old ways again. And so a big part of what I decided for myself was I was going to find my way to more than just exist. Basically, I was going to find my way to live. And how I see myself in the world of spirituality may not be how somebody else defines living a spiritual life, but it's about knowing the true you, knowing who you are. And here is the time when we are in a time when we find ourselves feeling the want, the need, the desire to rise up. And it doesn't mean everybody's going to go through awakenings. And some people are going to stay dormant. Some people are going to stay where they are. You can't take people with you through those journeys. People got to go on their own. People have to do it their way. And some people will fall away from your life. It just happens. People get angry with you. People judge you. People criticize. People want the old you back. But the old you that they want back is the one that they have created through their stories. It doesn't mean that it was ever you if people don't know all about you. And most people don't know all about you. They know bits and pieces. They know their experience with you. And so when they want you to be that experience and they want you to be that energy again, then and if you follow through with being what they want, you will never be you. And so sometimes, it's knowing that you have to walk away or walk alone or walk a journey. And you have to be okay with that. People will not understand you. People will not accept you. You're not here to be liked or loved. You're not here to be any of that. And the biggest thing I have learned in my journey is don't defend yourself, and don't defend your don't feel a need to explain or justify yourself. You don't need to do that, because you're just validating their story. When you know who you are, awakening, when you know who you are, you absolutely, and you're solid in that, and you're a good person, you do things for the right reason, you will not fall victim and fall back into that habit of needing or wanting to justify yourself to people's opinions and people's views, because that's all they are. And everyone has an opinion, just like assholes, right? And so there is always that. And if you try to be validated in that world, you'll always be back in your past. And so that's like in flashing lights for us right now. Flashing lights. Pay attention to that. Catch that. Know that. Recognize that in yourself. People will know you from a previous experience, right? And so that doesn't mean that's who you are. And when you start to find out who you are, you start to get that desire to want to live. And you want to live on the other side of your emotions. So we respond emotionally in life. And so if you once you start to figure that out, then you start to want to dive deep. And I would say you can't do this all alone. As much as we like to think we can't. It takes, like, there's so much that happens in our world. But it's that whole sense of coming into traveling around the emotions and being able to have the courage to travel around the emotions to get to the other side. So if it's anger, what's on the flip side of anger, right? What's on the flip side of sadness is joy, right? So how do I get from sadness to joy? And if you're only swinging and you're only going halfways, then or three-quarters the way, then you're always going to be falling back. And this is about being able to complete and come full circle, knowing full well we're always going to go through difficult situations. We're always going to have challenges. We're always going to know all sides of our emotions. But not letting not letting those emotions own us, that we consider ourselves to be always angry, always sad, that there is joy and happiness on the other side of that. You're welcome, Brianna. And so there is, we are going into some real retrograde. We have a lot of planets all going into retrograde together, or it's just happening. But we also have Chiron, and like Chiron is now in um Chiron's in Mars. Chiron's in Mars, I think. We have Chiron like kind of trapping us in that wounded healer work, and just saying it's, and not trapping us in a bad way, but just saying, here we are right now, and it's time to dive deep. And if you've been watching my videos, I've been talking about turning the mirror around and facing ourselves, not reflecting out to the world what's wrong with the world, what's the world doing wrong, what do I need to face about myself? If I want to live in a beautiful world, I have to create that beautiful world. Spiritually sad, but today I'm feeling a bit better. It's been a long, yes, exactly, Felicia. So, looking at your situation, where you've been, what you have happening, there is, it just, your light just goes down, right? You just feel that sense of, but, um, but resting, doing things to recharge, just give yourself the time that you need. Don't rush. Don't rush. And so there our middle card are, so the way that I've been working with my cards is mind, right? So our mind kind of becomes the Debbie Downer, the Debbie Doubter, all of those things. Our dreams, and imagination are not all crazy, right? It's like we have so many things that we want, and when we bring it into reality, when we're told we can't, that it's impossible. So, how many times do you get told that's impossible? You can't do that. You can't be that. And then the limits come in, because you have this, because you got that, because you got this responsibility, because this is wrong with you, that's wrong, right? And so what if you could, if we look back through history, and this is why our history is so important right now, is in knowing that if they had to be stuck and listen to the fact of saying we could never fly, or that we could never light up the world, or that we could connect across the world like this, if they had listened to that, if it was in their dreams, they start imagining it into creation, and if they had to listen to all that said, no you can't, no you can't, no you can't, that's not possible, that's just dumb, you're crazy, you're just out there, then they would have given up, right? But what kept them moving? That's evolution. That's us evolving and growing and knowing that, yes, we can fly. How do we fly? We find a way to fly. And it's the same thing with the what I've been writing about today is the money tree, right? It's like I remember being a kid, and my mother used to say, "Where do you think money comes from? Money doesn't grow on trees." And I say, "Well, just write me one of those checks." Just write me one of those checks. And she's like, but you need money for one of those checks. And I said, but money will come. And I used to believe in that, right? So it's just like believing in the fairy tale, just like believing in fairy tales and believing in your dreams. And I used to believe there was a money tree. And as I was driving today, I heard, damn right there's a money tree. There's fruit trees. And what does fruit do? Fruit feeds people. Fruit gets to go from being an apple to apple juice, to apple cider, to all of those things. And what does it make? It brings in money. And so then there's a cycle of money, because it's all energy, and everything is energy. So yes, there is money tree, and there's a plant called money tree, but there is money on trees. There's money in trees itself, because they turn it to lumber. It is the cycles of life. It is the energy. It is the flow. So it's like that limiting belief and that story that I was told, it limited me. It didn't limit the world and the people who held back, but it limited me, because then I started to downplay my dreams and what I want. It's like, well, I can't afford that. Oh no, that won't be there. Because instead of believing that, yeah, you know what? Let's go find some money on that money tree. Let's go, it's like, instead of thinking creatively, and I have the creative mind. And so to think creatively, yes, there's money on trees. How am I going to bring that to life? How's that going to happen? And so that's huge where we are right now in changing the way that we actually think, the way that we even limit the imagination of children, and how we try to instill our thoughts, our beliefs upon children, instead of allowing. I shared a meme about this yesterday. Instead of teaching children how to think, and how to be and not to push down their flame and their creativity, not to limit their possibility. If you wanted to be an actress as a child, or an actor, and how many people say to you, you're not, that will never make you no money, you can never be that, you can't do that, that will limit you. And then you stop believing in your own dreams. But what if you could? It's just like the flying. What if you could? What if you could? So it's the same thing. If I only stay a medium, what if I could be something more? What if my mediumship gifts are designed for even more again? And so that's what I keep exploring. It's not that I'm going to stop being a medium, but I also know that if I'm this gifted, and I can speak to a world out there, then that means I can speak to anything out there. And so I do. I'm a channel, and I speak and I call in some of the greatest leaders and teachers of all times. I speak to Albert Einstein, because why not? And I wait for the response to come back. I speak to some of the greatest artists in the world, and I ask them to teach me how to paint, because why not? Because why not? And so I've made peace with hiding those things. And that's where we are right now, is what we do and how we become in this very moment. It matters to our future. And this is our card of contentment. And she's oozing out that love, and love is flowing out, and love is flowing in, because it's so important for us to open our hearts to ourselves, and to the possibility of so much more, and to be so much more within our own world. So if we allow ourselves to stay only one emotion, if we're going to stay a lifelong sad, how do we get to know joy? How do we climb that mountain? So when we speak about the mountain that stands in the way, we are the mountain. The only thing that stands in our way is ourselves. It's the limiting beliefs that have been passed on to us, or that have been conditioned to us, that we believe you're only human, or you're only this, you're only that. But what if I am more? And what we're doing is that we are bringing us into that place of being able to live from our soul, to live connected to that we're so much more than that self. And yes, that might sound like people tell, I always hear I talk over people's heads. No, I talk here, and I'm staying here, and then people can come to me. Right? Climb the mountain, climb the mountain. It's like you got to climb the mountain. And when we get to the peak, you have a choice to go back down or go over. But how are you going to climb that mountain? Are you going to keep struggling to the top, or are you going to find a way around it? Do you find a way through? Do you keep trying to like beat down the walls of it? Do you keep trying to beat your way through it? Or do you find a way to get around it, even if it takes a little bit longer? And so it's how we think, it's how we process our thoughts, it's how we and it's recognizing how much of how powerful the conditioning has been. So in this moon, and with this Leo energy, is we are in a state of caring about our own thoughts, caring about our own dreams, caring about our own imagination, and becoming very creative with how we even communicate to ourselves. So when we work with light language, and we work with allowing ourselves to receive those light language codes, is that there's no words in human, because it's not that human word. It is a vibrational, it's a frequency. How does it feel? And then translating that feeling into realities. And so when you translate your feelings into realities, so many things can be interpreted from there. So if you're feeling it, wouldn't it be, how would you interpret it if you're always angry? How will you interpret it if you're always in the doom and gloom? How would you interpret it if you're in a place of love, joy, and happiness? See the difference? So this is the contentment. And what we are here to do is to be at peace with where we've been, and to be able to find that sense of contentment. Be content with where we are right now, knowing that we got the possibility to be more, to do more, or to just be happy with where we are. and just give ourselves time. And so wherever I am right now, this is the invocation. And I have a thing on my vision board that is from Mother Teresa. I've kept it forever. And what it says is, where you are right here, right now, whatever is happening in your world, it is your invocation. And what we do from these moments, and how we, how we take this moment and allow it to either inspire us, right? Allow it to inspire us, or to, who do I need to be in this moment and in this situation? Who do I need to become to move beyond this? Who do I need to be on the other side of this? And am I living the life that my soul is seeking? Am I living the life that my soul is seeking? And ask yourself that and sit with that. You won't grow. So there's a difference. So there, yeah. So Beth, the contentment is to be at peace with ourselves. No, and that means we stop being hard on ourselves, right? We start to make peace with the fact that I'm not here to be, I'm not here to make everyone else happy. I'm not here to, and sometimes not everybody's going to like your messages. Sometimes it's not going to resonate. And, you make peace with trying to please the world. So we become content in knowing that we're always going to be moving and shifting, right? So where I am right now, I'm okay to be right here, but tomorrow's not going to be, I'm not going to be that person. So who do I need to be tomorrow? Right. And so that's really truly makes a big difference in our lives. And so you stop trying to be everything to fill the roles. That's the whole thing. You stop trying to be the roles. You stop creating identities and personalities of, personas that are all based on the roles that you play. The roles are the roles. Your identity should be based on your truth and not on your ego self, right? So it's like we create it based on, oh, this is who I am, this is where I'm from, this is the way we are. And it's like, no, we're so much more than that. And so self-love is an absolute must. Self-love is an absolute must. Self-care and self-recognition, like recognizing you, like, this is me. This is who, I'm I'm me. I'm not the world. And then you can start to separate yourself from the energy of the world. You don't take the world's energy so personal. Feed the light. And so our card, and so I meant to tell about the card. So mind, body. So this is body, right? Be content with this. You're only getting this one human, and you can grow this human. You can keep it as healthy as you want. And there's, your body itself may have limitations, but the other bodies of you are not limited. So your human is limited. Your who you are is not limited. Living from spirit, living with your soul connection is not limited. Your human has a little more limitations, but the rest doesn't. The rest doesn't. So your body has these limitations. And so a big thing that I've been doing is, because, I'm preparing for a spinal surgery, all of those things coming down the road. I just found out that I'm on the list, and what is going to be a quick surgery is now like 18 months waiting list. But I can either stop moving, stop living, or I can live beyond the body. So I say every day, I'm leaving my body with the healing energy. I'm doing what I can, but I'm living from spirit, living from the essence that I'm so much more than that in my back. And this inspires me. So this spine inspires me to do things that I can do, instead of living by the fact that I am limited. Right? I am not limited. The spine is limited. I'm not limited. Right? And so that's where you keep growing on beyond there. You're so welcome, Rhonda. And then our card that comes in, which is, so mind, body, spirit, is how my 3 cards run. So mind, body, spirit. And so from spirit is learning the power of feeding the light. And that's being creative in this area of our life is, opening up our crown chakra, letting the light in, being in the light, not living in the dark, not living in denial, not living in denying ourselves the good things in life. So if we live in denial, or if we live in the dark, if we only want to see what's good in the world, if we only want to see all positive, and we're like, I don't want to know anything else, then how do you learn to be able to cope with the spectrum of this and that? And that is so crucial in learning to live a healthy life, is knowing that I can still be at peace, be strong in my strength and in my core of knowing who I am, and knowing that I will encounter moments, situations, health issues, all of those things will still come, because we are human, right? Because we are the human being. We are not invincible. And no matter how much you try to live your most positive life, you are still going to be influenced or affected by the world around, because we are involved in somebody else's fates. We always have somebody else's experiences, right? That we are a part of somehow. And so that does have an impact upon us. And so feeding the light is Rose. Now, this Rose. Um, the yellow, the yellow girl back there, the yellow painting back there, that's also Rose. So that's Rose from my book, from one of my books, Wine and Chips, which we also have in editing. And so that's Rose. This is Rose. And I feed the light by using my creativity to allow to have an outlet you know, for the chatter in my mind. And when you find an outlet for the chatter in your mind, is that you allow it to have an expression. You allow it to have a voice. You allow it to come out instead of suppressing it. If you keep telling yourself, I'm crazy, I don't know anything, I'm dumb, I shouldn't be doing this, you will hear your own enemy speaking to you within. You'll hear it saying, like you because it will be your shadow self will be wanting to limit you, pull you back. When I first start creating Rose, was, I never thought she'd turn out like this, and then I never thought she'd turn it like that. I thought I was painting angel wings. And then all of a sudden I could hear myself saying, you know what, maybe you just need to go back to getting a job. Maybe you just need to go back to going on the road every day and just be doing 8-10 sessions a day. Maybe you should be doing this. So you're like, what are you doing? That's stupid. That's dumb. Why are you doing this? And then all of a sudden the wings were being covered. The wings were being covered up, and obviously Tracy's not in here. The wings were being covered, and I was painting hair again. And as I was painting the hair, I started to laugh, and I started to see the face come in. And as the face come in, I'm like, well, who are you? And I said, because your skin is looking mauve. Your skin is looking like mauvey color. And she said, well, of course I do. I'm a grape. And that's how she started to speak to me. And that is, that's myself, right? That's that self finding humor of me being, having these crazy thoughts in my mind that maybe I should just go back to the old life, because that would be easy. That would be easy. And I would enjoy it. I could live with it. But is that the way that we're going? Right? So what are we feeding? So if you feed your doubts, you feed the fears and the insecurities, you're denying yourself the opportunity to go full circle into the emotions and travel all the way around. Finding a creative outlet and a way to allow yourself to kind of circle it through. It's like recycling, right? Is you're going to take all of that junk talk, all of that garbage talk, all that shit stuff, and you're just going to like recycle it and bring it into upcycling it. You're going to turn it into wisdom. You're going to turn it into something greater. You're going to turn it into something better. And that may be journaling. That may be having, I've said this for years. I have 3 journals. I have one where I write to write. I have one where I write for me personally. And then I have a fuck it journal. And me and that fuck it journal has been together for years. And that's where I write all the garbage. That's where I write all the things that are not really true, but I need to let it out. You need to speak it, because often when you're trying to speak it to other people, they're like, oh, but. And it's like, stop saying but. You don't want to sit, because people fear sitting in the uncomfortable of you having a meltdown or you having a moment of venting. Venting doesn't mean it's real. Venting means that you are just expressing yourself and you're just letting it out, right? And it's like, but where are we letting it out? So when you find that place where there is no but, and you can just get it out, on the other side of that, you then will find inspiration. You'll feel that sense of enlightenment, being able to, you'll laugh at yourself. And when you start to laugh at yourself and you start to find humor, you're not laughing at you as you're not mimicking and mocking yourself. You're discovering how much you deny yourself, or how much you have mimicked, mocked, um, made excuses, denied yourself, how much other people have even done that to you. So the very first painting that you see over there with the red dress on, like way over there with the big blonde hair, she was my first painting. And I never said I'm a painter, and I never said I was great at it. I said I found an outlet. And I heard that I had to paint me beautiful. And Paint Me Beautiful has turned into another book, another experience, another something else that is another creative outlet where I am finding myself finding joy in my life again. It doesn't make money right now, no, but it's that money tree again. It has the possibility, by bringing it into reality, to be something that inspires me to get into the energetic flow. And that's what I'm trying to get through to you, is that finding your way through to there, get to that point, moving forward. Because when we start to awaken to a new truth and we start to find out new truth, we see things differently. When we go through our experiences, of course they change us. And we can't take back situations that change our lives forever. We can't get it back. And we know that. We're not dumb to that. We know it, but we want so much to have our old lives back so often. And we want back those happy feelings, the joys, the sense of living in that euphoria of having the good in our lives. Well, how do we find it on the other side? And it's not easy, not always easy, but it starts by feeding the light instead of feeding the fear, the insecurity, instead of putting yourself on the back burner, instead of denying yourself the good things in life, instead of denying yourself the opportunity to vent, instead of denying yourself the opportunity to be angry. There's a meditation on my YouTube called, and it's, and, or it's, yeah, I think it's a talk and a meditation. And I speak about love anger. And I'm like, there's a difference in being, when you're angry at everything, it manifests something else within. But when we have love anger, which is a part of our virtuous self, it gives us the opportunity to rise up and say, you're effing right. I'm going to stand up for me. But I'm not going to defend myself to people I don't have to. But how am I going to stand up? I'm going to do the things to prove to myself that I am not those stories, right? I'm going to do those things for me. And by living, by living, by making the choice to choose to live, not just exist, not just exist. And it's amazing how we believe the just existing is living, but it's not. That's patterns, right? That's cycles. But to actually live. And so here we are in this beautiful Leo energy, this new moon energy, and just saying it is time for us to really explore this look in. And so our numbers are 9, 25, and 19 is the numbers that we're choosing here. So a 9 power 3, 25 can be 7, right? Or it can be 3, right? No, it can be it can be, yeah, it can be 3 or it can be 7. We have 19, which can be an 8, which can be the power 4, or it can be a 10, which is 5, which is transformation. So there's so many things that are, when we can see beyond, when we can look deeper, when we can explore deeper, we can see things in a whole different way. So that's the message that we have. It is crazy friggin' hot here. I would love to stay even longer, but I am going to end it with a validation from a different deck of cards for us, as we're going to end out with what we call the dark mirror cards. And these dark mirror cards are, that sense of our shadow self. And they're not dark, they look dark. The messages appeared, but that's how we go dark. We go dark when we're not feeding the light. And feeding the light also includes food. What we feed ourselves is a part of, getting creative with getting healthy, sculpturing, sculpting ourselves into having this body that has longevity is important. And don't worry, I haven't got that perfected. So this card came flying out. So we're going to use it. Naked before the stars. Naked before the stars. And as you can see, she's like in her negligee, in her like lingerie. She's stripped down as if, is she, many people say, oh, she does that for attention, or she does that for, people talk, oh, she looks good to get attention, or she looks good for this. Everybody wants to stay angry. People want to stay angry, and judgment and criticism and making up stories about who we think people are allows you to keep your emotions, your negative emotions alive and feed into it, right? You're not feeding into the light, you're feeding into the darkness. Whereas for her, she is honoring herself by allowing herself to be vulnerable. She is exposing herself to her own sexual energy, her own divine feminine energy, her own sense of knowing that there is such power in our sexual energy. There's so much power within us. And if we have no idea how to call in our power, how to live in that power, we'll be seeking false light and false power, and then it's false confidence. It's not true confidence. So then we walk in that sense of painting, painting the image to be the story of what people may have said. So however people have been labeling you, if somebody else says, oh, they said that about you, and then you're like, oh, well, maybe I'll be that, right? And then you act it out. So this is, being naked before the stars. And this is what I'm getting in with it. And that truth of just knowing that she's choosing to honor herself in the dark, and, in the light of the dark. Doesn't always have to be sun energy. It can be in the light of the dark. It can be fully in the dark. But who you are when nobody is looking is what matters the most. But because it tells the secrets on how you speak to yourself, how you treat yourself, what you do for yourself, and that's where the hidden secrets are. Who you are when nobody's looking. If you jump for everybody else, if you're available for everyone else in your downtime, then you may not be available for you. And remember that, because such it is exhausting to be available to answer every call, every message, to listen to everybody's problem. That need to be wanted and to be loved is greater. So who we are and how we treat ourselves when nobody is looking matters the absolute most. We have to come into alignment of being that oneness, to be that sameness, to be that everywhere, but knowing what is sacred to us. And there is so much within you that is sacred, and so much in you that is your gifts. Our gifts were given to us to use on us first, not for us to give to the world. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made. When I start awakening and start using my gifts, I didn't take the time to give them to me first. I just wanted to share it with the world, because that was another one of the programs. Share, 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 give, give, give. It's like that. You just can't. I would be guilted and shamed for wanting something for myself all the way from childhood. And then I've since learned, I don't, just because I can doesn't mean you have to, right? So I don't just because I have these gifts, it doesn't mean that I have to be accessible and available 24 hours a day, or or all year round, right? Like, so these gifts and what you have that you find, that you start to find within you, it's first for you. And that is how the lioness is. The mother lion is about feeding herself first and then feeding her cubs, because if she's not available, if she's not here, the cubs will not survive, right? And so the best of us is still on the other side of when we turn that mirror around and when we look deep within. So we have a lot of energy that's saying, look deep, go deep, explore deep, but also keep rising. It's not that you don't have to mushroom and hide to go through any of the journey of finding yourself. Is that you can be in many experiences at once, but be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. So go back, listen to my other message if you have time. This was supposed to be a fast message. We're almost an hour. I am slipping out of my chair. The chair is wet from like sweating in this chair. Gross. I do have the Lionsgate energy. I have the Lionsgate healing class that I have going on right now. It's a message, 3 messages, 3 recorded messages. The second one's recorded. The second one's being released tomorrow. And what they do is I give you the message, and then I give you some questions to really truly question yourself during the week. And then next Friday you get the last one, and then I think it's next Friday, whenever that comes up, however that date falls. And then on the Monday on the Lionsgate Energy, so on August the 8th in the evening, I am doing a live event, but you've got to be registered into that Lionsgate and do the other 3 videos in order to take part in it. And so that's also available. And so I will be doing a healing, inspirational ascension process, and working with the light through that whole thing to start bringing helping us to be able to ascend beyond, because who we are on the other side of that, who we are on the other side will really matter. It's like we take our now with us. We take who we are now with us, not the past, not what we think our future should be, but the now, and take that journey, right? I think I'm a mother bear now to finally allow, right, dessert as well without guilt. Yes, yes, exactly, Cherry, right? Yeah, and so we often don't know those things earlier. And when we know them, we can only do better when we know better, and we can only make changes when we know something to be different. So we all live in half-hearted truths, and that's the first quote in my book. In the second book is I speak about the lies we have been fed as truths. And when we start to discover these lies that we even tell ourselves with love, not even intentional, then we start to discover new truths. And so that's when we turn the mirror around and we look in and say, I don't know why. Yes, we know why. I don't know why that's happening. Yes, we do. And so when we look deeper, we discover those things. And so, yeah, that Lions Gate is coming up. I also have all the courses, not all the course, there's a bunch of courses on sale in the school. Lisa has some classes that are going on. Lisa also has a live tonight where you can join in. She has a Lionsgate live meditation and reading. I think it's on her page on Loving Energy Recharge. It's probably even on I think it's on the More Than Existing page as well. And we have another page that's called More Than Existing. So there is another page that you can go to. It's called More Than Existing. Please share out these videos, because I am amongst those that Facebook is kind of pushing me out. And so hence why it only has my name now. And so please share these videos so that we can get back in. And if you go to YouTube and you subscribe to YouTube, might be the safest place to kind of catch us in the future. But that's what I got for you. Have a beautiful evening. Much love. And I will see you all soon. Now I'm going to go sit outside. Have a beautiful evening, a beautiful weekend. And I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.